Peace, Noble.
Peace.
I'm ready when you're ready, Noble Moso.
I'm on the road today, doing some work. Long. Won't be happening still. Long.
All of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spate and BH.
Peace.
Peace.
How everybody doing?
Going very good, shit.
It's live.
How y'all doing today?
Doing great. Amazing. 1 second, man. 1 second. Can somebody give us our Moorish American prayer, if you don't mind?
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our God, and our salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, Shalom Malakim, Aya Asha Aya, Islam, Amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace. How y'all doing, man?
Doing great, Chief. Noble. Rainy day. How y'all doing today?
Man, we good, man. Good. Glad to see your face, as always. You know, today's Saturday. We're gonna have a great discussion. You know, and you know, as we've been talking about history and talking about things that's written historically, and just resurrecting teachings. We're not here to try to convert no one or tell no one what to believe. That's not my perspective. As a teacher, as a guide, and as a professional witness, this is my job. And I challenge you to research everything that I'm saying. You know? But it's so much we want to talk about today. But just specifically, one topic that I always like to share with people is your family crest. This on my arm is my family crest. That's the Goodman family crest. And my family, the Goodmans, been here in America since the 1800s. Before all that, we have records. Our family been here in 1801 in America. The Goodman family, the family crest. When I say, yes, some people are from Africa. I get that. Everybody is not from Africa. You know, no disrespect to no one. I get what people saying in general. I understand that. That's why a misnomer black man is never gonna take the time to research who he is. We too worried about everyone else. Like what we talk about in 1866, right? Yes, we know what happened in 1866, but what about before 1866, y'all? It was something going on. Watch this. What was going on in 1838? Huh? Because it was something going on. It's called the rights of colored men to suffrage, citizenship, and the trial by jury. And the trial by jury being a book of facts, arguments, and authorized historical notices and sketches of debits with notes by William Yates, Philadelphia, first by Merrill and by Merrill and Gunn, Marion and Gunn, Gunn, two authors, 1838. 1838. Now, what was in that document? It's something in that document, and I sent it to all my brothers and sisters. I'm not going to go and just read it all. That's what I be saying here. It's there. We don't have to make nothing new. The Constitution is going to be our defense. People are under the wrong fight. In 1838, brothers, they was like, we ain't no 14th Amendment Negroes. We ain't no, our children ain't no children or no slaves, all that. And today, brothers and sisters don't know the 13th, the 14th, the 15th Amendment. They don't understand what manumissions are, and they up here fighting and arguing. I'm telling y'all, if you know what's going on and about international law and who you are as the people, this should be a good time. If you really understand what's going on, if you really talk about you dealing with civics, you know, William Yates, The Rights of Colored Men, 1838. I'll give a little preface, you know. Listen to this. View the document on the national constitutions. You can look this up on the website. And I'll just give a summary. In 1838. In 1838, Noble Dantes, I ain't say 1866, did I?
Sure.
You know, abolitionists. Yeah, abolitionist William Yates published the first legal treatise on the rights of free black Americans. Yates insisted that all free Americans were citizens who were entitled to the privileges and immunities guaranteed to citizens in Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution. Yates called for the equal rights of citizens relating to persons and to things. Because remember, a lying lawyer say, "Oh, we were free from persons." No, it just changed ownership. His his acquisitions of property by contract and by inheritance, and even the soil which no alien inherits, became law in the 1866 Civil Rights Act and became one of the fundamental principles underlying Section 1 of the 14th Amendment. Did y'all just hear what I just said? I'm trying to tell you. That's how I know these brothers and sisters don't be knowing what the hell they be talking about, Noble Dantes, Noble Moso. This ain't dealing, I ain't dealing with no feelings. Citizenship of persons of color, per se. Citizenship of central importance is the foundation of key personal rights. In regard to citizenships, this is a subject of great importance, an exclusion from suffrage. Remember I showed y'all what suffrage was when the U.S. Southern Belle cut the hair off? Suffrage, analogy or parable, just like in the biblical scripture, Samson getting his hair cut off, is a withholding of political rights only. But the question of citizenship strikes deeper. Deny a man this, and his personal rights are not safe. He may be hindered from going into a state, or if he enters it, he may be expelled or treated as an alien. On this principle, Missouri attempted to prohibit free colored men from coming into or settling in the state, or any pretext whatever. See? Yates turns to the Constitution next. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all the privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. It was in the U.S. article, Section 2, Clause 1. Are free African Americans entitled to the privileges and immunities of citizens protected by the Article 4 of the Constitution when it comes to the fundamental rights? There is no basis for discrimination against free African American. There is nothing to justify it in the English common law, in the British Constitution, or in the Declaration of Independence. These are important and valuable privileges. Do they belong to free persons of color? If they were white, it is conceded they would. The point then turns on a distinction of color. But such a distinction as the basis of fundamental rights is not recognized by the common law of England or the principles of the British Constitution, nor by our own Declaration of Independence. Did y'all know that? Talk to me. You can look this up for yourself now. Anybody can look this up for themselves. We are human beings and we are Americans. What type of American I am? I'm a Moorish American. I'll tell you, for the record, this ain't no crime. What's my nationality? Moorish American. What's my race? I'll tell you, Asiatic. What's my status? Free white. I'll tell you this. Can't nobody else tell you who I am? No one. I will tell you, for the record. Me, for the record. My right. Declaration of Human Rights, Article 15. You got a right of a nationality and a right to change it. And the claim of child replaces the birth certificate. And no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality and a right to change it. Stop it. Free persons of so-called color are human beings, natives of the country. I done showed y'all all this, the so-called 5 tribes with the so-called misnomer free blacks. What? Amazigians. That's why I keep telling us, what do we call ourselves? Amazigians, they were free men, not no freed, F-R-E-E-D, men. We weren't free from nothing. We was already free. Amazigian Berber is free men. A part of Africa used to be called the Barbary continent at one point in history. No disrespect. We are not second-class citizens. And we letting misnomered Negroes, no disrespect, Republican or Democrats, put ourselves in that. We're not no second-class citizens. Human beings, natives of the country. For such of we speak, and we owe the same obligations to the state and to this government as misnomer whites. They have an equal right to liberty, to the enjoyment and the security of home and family, and of a good name and character as misnomer white men. So to all the rights of conscience, to read, write, print, to speak, teach, debate, to preach, worship God according to its dictates, their titles, and the same as of, no disrespect, white people per se. They have the same right to the rewards of industry as misnomer white people. They may buy, hold, sell, real, or personal estate, the same as they are as fully entitled to the protection of the law, have a right to sue, to jury trial, to a verdict and judgment, to execution, to habeas corpus, and in some of the state to the writ of habeas republicando, or it's called a writ of personal replevin, as misnomer white people. For them all, our courts, from the highest to the lowest, are as open, and the officers as much bound to issue, to obey, and to execute processes as for European or white man per se, or Albion, whatever you want to call it. And they equally, as white people, enjoy the advantages of the public mail. We are not second-class citizens. Thus we see the colored man is not of an intermediate class. His relations to society are the same as others. Just like biblically, it's no disrespect. If I could show you in the Old Testament and the New Testament, all the old church fathers was melanated, then what? Clearly you're not a second-class citizen. His absolute and relative rights, his rights of persons and things, his acquaintances of property by contact and by inheritance, and even the soil which no alien inherits. Don't no alien inherit land. We inherit families. That's why I keep telling us we're the same. Every favor or right conferred on the citizens by general legislation reaches us, and every requisition demands his obedience. See, bold sentences give the big idea of the excerpt and are not a part of the primary source. I hope y'all just got a little preface of that. Are y'all still with me? Dante, just like you was researching your family crest, your coat of arms. When I be telling brothers and sisters, I say, listen, research your history. Research your history.
Islam.
My people that I lost due to a lack. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dantes.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, just doing some simple research on it, what I've discovered is you'll hear a lot of different names and things, where older names and things like that, where you would also then have to research those things as well to kind of get closer and closer.
Dantes, so you see how when people be trying to bang up religion, they'll say, well, we this. And I say, brother, do a little bit of research. You this too. And then you this too. And then you this too. And then you are this too. But people be trying to put your wisdom in the box. We're not going to do that as educators and scholars. We going all through history, And just like when you looking up Latin and things, like when you was researching pits, and I was waiting for somebody to research that. Once you start seeing things, you'll be like, wait, painted faces, colored faces. Well, you'll start seeing etymologically things, and then people be trying to whitewash history. Then you'll start seeing things that's synonymous to this and that and the other. You'll be like, wait a minute. You will start seeing, and then you don't have to argue with no one, because then you will see pits will spell P-I-C-T-I, which means painted ones in Latin. The pits were the larger kingdom in the Dark Age, Scotland, what they call the Dark Ages or the medieval times, or the Golden Age. I'm trying to tell you. See, it's just what it is. Your coat, when you see the Europeans with the family crest on it, when people was mad when they saw the Queen of England with the Moorish heads like we have on, and they'll tell you their legacy. They be wearing the coat of arms, the family crest. You can go to the Netherlands and pull up the Corsica flag and tell me what you'll get. When you pull up the Corsica flag in Netherlands and tell me what you pull up. And then start researching a swarty pie, aka Black Pete, and start researching Santa Claus, start researching some history. It's no disrespect to no one. I just broke down when I was teaching yesterday how you all over. Like here go my noble's family crest. That's your family crest right there, Dantes.
Islam.
That's your family crest.
The painted ones.
And mine on my arm. On my coat. My Goodman family crest.
Islam.
I wore this to the gym one day because I got a whole jogging suit like that. It was a guy in there from Scotland, and he had a European guy, a Scottish American Noble Dantes, and he had his family crest on his leg. He was staring at me the whole time. My wife was like, "This man's staring at you." I said, "Yeah, he see my family crest. He want to say something, but he don't know what to say." So I went by. I was like, "How? That's your family crest?" He was like, "How do you know?" And I said, "You know, I understand my Moorish history." He was like, "Huh?" And we got to talking. We had a conversation, man. Blew his mind. And he was like, "Absolutely." Gave me a hug. He said, "You know exactly who you are." I was like, "Yeah." Wasn't no disrespect or this, that, and the other. No. What? Disrespect for what? He ain't trying to be, "Oh, you got on my stuff." Yeah, I got on yours. He got on his family, his coat of arms. I got on mine too. I know who I am. He know who he is. You feel me?
Indeed. Islam.
And so another thing we was talking about how, let me see if I can find something for y'all. I was showing Noble Malik about Tom Barclay, you know, and Thomas Barclay and the Moroccan-American Treaty. When you start looking at things, like I'm gonna show y'all some things, you'd be like, wait a minute. Because a lot of us don't know that Thomas Barclay and the Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship, people didn't know that? Here, like this one picture they say is Tom Barclay right here. Now, but watch this. I ain't done though. I ain't done. That's like when people be looking at J. Edgar Hoover, and I'd be like, okay, I can show you some history of J. Edgar Hoover. It got some melanin in him. When I start showing you family blood, but hey, whatever. But watch this. Listen to this. Thomas Barclay and the Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Listen, Thomas Barclay was an early and active member of the American Revolution. Eventually, Barclay was sent to Europe to work as a diplomat with other famous founders like Adams, Franklin, and Jefferson. He was then sent to negotiate a much overlooked treaty with the Sultan of Morocco. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar, don't it? Thomas Barclay immigrated from Ireland to Philadelphia in his 30s and established a successful mercantile firm. Barclay became a leader in the city Irish community and joined Thomas Fitzsimmons as a founder in the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick, a charity organization for the community. When the American Revolution began, Thomas was elected to all of the committees of correspondence as well as the Provincial Assembly. Furthermore, he was chosen to sit on the board of Pennsylvania Navy. Now, why the kids don't know this? Now, why all the brothers that act like they know something anymore, they ain't teaching it right. They got y'all out here barking like dogs. And we're going to overthrow some of this. Overthrow what, boy? Excuse my candor. It's written. Council, when it was discovered that William Palfrey's ship vanished on the high seas. When I show y'all Thomas Jefferson Quran, when I show you, they call you Berber. They call you a pirate. They call you a corsair. The Continental Congress chose Barclay. The Continental Congress chose Barclay as his replacement. Thomas soon sailed to assume the office of consul to France. While in Paris, Barclay worked closely with John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, briefly John Jay. These diplomats had been ignoring requests of the Barbary states. Now, I told y'all, Africa was called the Barbary Coast at one point. Y'all don't know that? I'm telling you. This should start ringing bells. That's why I said I ain't here to prove nothing wrong. I'm here to prove right. What am I proving wrong?
Referred to as the Barbary Coast sheet.
You say what?
What was referred to as the Barbary Coast?
Part of Africa. North Africa. The Barbary States was North Africa. The Barbary States is in North Africa. In North Africa. Now just imagine how big the continent of Africa is. I said North Africa. The Barbary States with an S. You feel me?
Wow.
You see? To send an ambassador with the intent of establishing what? A peace treaty. See, this was about to change, ignoring Morocco. Earlier in 1778, Morocco became one of the first nations in the world to request a treaty of allegiance with the United States. Research the it'll come to me. The Dumb Diverses and the Doctrine of Discovery, and research the Papal Bull. Research the Papal Bull and the Dumb Diverses. You'll start seeing things. And the Doctrine of Discovery. Unfortunately, the ministers in Europe were more concerned with winning the Revolutionary War than expanding their group of friends. So after the Treaty of Paris was signed, and having been ignored by the Americans for 6 years, the Sultan of Morocco decided it was time to get their attention. The Sultan had an American ship, the Betsy, and her crew captured. So I can go on and on and on, but let me get to a good part of it. The Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Thomas undertook an arduous 5-month journey to Morocco, arriving in the capital on June 19, 1786, with a draft of a treaty, which was written by Jefferson. 9 days later, Barbary left. The Sultan's ambassador were accommodating and eager to work with the United States and the Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship. I got the Thomas Jefferson Quran right over. I done lectured this a plethora of times. The Peace and Friendship, that's the song they sing in the military. For the whole of Tripoli.
So was it Montezuma?
I mean, come on. They telling you what happened. This agreement is one of the oldest, arguably the oldest official alliances still in use by the United States today. Further diplomacy. 5 years later, Thomas Barclay was instructed to return to Morocco. See, the Sultan had passed away and his sons were fighting a civil war to determine who the nation's newest head of state would be. Barclay waited for the fighting to cease before successful confirming the original treaty still stood. See, I don't mean no disrespect when y'all see the presidency and y'all see all those so-called, no disrespect, modern Arabs, they got all that money and all that, because when Mansa Musa ruled the earth, he messed up, and then a lot of the sons started to do the bidding of the daughters. I'm telling you, no disrespect to nobody. I could go way deeper with the teachings, and I have proof to show you what happened and how your stuff was took. Just like when we talk about the curse of Ham, when I was breaking it down, it really wasn't no curse to Ham per se, because you know what happened in the things. Your land was took. Your science was took from you. You was a foreigner in your own land. That's what happened. You know, confirming that the original treaty still stood. Barclay returned to Europe, but was soon asked to go to Algiers and form another alliance. When I show y'all the consular course, I got the documents from Harvard, from Oxford, from Cambridge Library. I already showed y'all. If a U.S. citizen kill a Moor, or vice versa, is a Moor kill a U.S. citizen, that Moor want to be judged in the same parameters of the law as that U.S. citizen. That's the real consular court. Any more get on here talking some mumbo jumbo, they a fraud. They fake it in a $3 bill. Unfortunately, while making his way through Spain, Barclay became ill, and the unknown disease ended his life in just 2 days, still serving his adopted country after more than a decade away from home. Here are some of the founding fathers who served as diplomats across the ocean. William Short, Jefferson's first disciple, Francis Dana, and the League of the Armed Neutrality. Ralph Izard, Journeys to Tuscany. Thomas Barclay has a biography. Through be warned, it is very rare and therefore expensive. And they say all that, but you know I got everything. When people be saying, I got everything. I don't have this stuff for years. A scholar gonna have everything. I can't teach and say I'm a teacher of truth and I'm a 5%er that's gonna tell the truth, no matter if it clear up a room or fill it up, and then try to connotate history or say I'm not very well versed on historical things. It's just what it is. I'm not gonna hide, and I'm not no gatekeeper. I have these things, but a workman is due his hire, because you can go on Amazon and buy it. Don't make me no difference. You're gonna buy it for thousands of dollars instead of getting the ebook from me, or have our company print it and bind it, and you save thousands of dollars. But people can do whatever they want to, you know? Now watch this. Let me show y'all a picture of somebody else. Let me see, can I find it? Let me see, can I find the brother? Okay, now I did research another Thomas Barclay. You're gonna be like, wait a minute. This is Tom Barclay. Watch this. This is 1852, 1933. What he look like? Look at him. When I be saying Lamar, I say, once you start, look at the brother. You dang right it is. That's Tom Barclay, 1852, 1933. Tom Barclay, a short biography of Tom Barclay, a founder of the Socialist League in Leicester. Y'all know where Leicester is, right?
Chester.
Research it.
L-E-E.
Leicester.
Oh, Leicester.
Mm-hmm. And then I was showing you all the brothers that was in Europe, the ancient and modern Britons, the Rome and Russian icons, Alamir and Vladimir Ivanhoff's expensive book we have, Russian icons, who was in Russia, who was the ancient modern Britons that David McRitchie tell you, who was in Britain, who was in Morocco and Spain.
Manchester, the city.
Yeah, where that's at?
England.
Ancient modern Britons. Thomas Patrick Barclay was born to an impoverished Irish immigrant family in Leicester in 1852. Tom's parents from Limerick and Mayo had been forced to quit Ireland because of potato famine. You know, most misnumbered black people and things, when you do the history, they were dealing with potatoes, you know, especially those that own land. They lived in a 2-room hovel. He never went to school and was taught to read by his mother. He was taught to read by his mother. Sound familiar? Yeah. His father scraped a living as a rag and bone man. Tom himself had to go to work at the age of 8 in Broad's rope walk, where he earned 1 shilling and 6 pence a week. He remained in menial jobs for the rest of his life, for many years in hosiery and dye factories, and for the last 25 years of his life, mainly as a bottle washer. He himself said that he worked in 20 factories over a period of 50 years. He can be seen as a founding father of socialism in Nottingham during the 1870s. Barclay worked at Cooper and Corhan's hosiery factory and took evening classes at the Working Men's College. He avidly read books and became self-educated. He eventually rejected catechism and became a secularist, influenced by writings of the American secular Robert Ingersoll. After William Morris lecture on art and socialism to the Secular Society in January 1885, he became a founding member of the Leicester branch of Socialist League in November of the same year with his workmate and fellow secularist George Robson, an active propagandist speaking wherever he could find a platform. That remind me of the Black Hitler of Harlem. Y'all know who the Black Hitler of Harlem was, do y'all? Anybody?
I've heard it.
Write it down. You get a chance to research it. You'll be like, dang. You'll be like, whoa. Research the brother, what he was doing. In 1886, he produced a weekly newspaper, The Countryman, that was distributed free to over 50 local villages. This was financed through advertising and the patronage of J.W. Bars, the secularist tea merchant. That's not like my noble Maso say, don't worry about it, Sheik. Yep, I'm with you. You keep doing what you're doing. I got this bag. We gonna support what you're doing. And just like Harry Belafonte was telling all them athletes and things like, hey man, no, let the right people do this. That's educating this. Y'all got the money, help this, make the money. So when y'all done, we have a place for us. Keep getting that bag. And it was while he was speaking on the top of a dray cart at Humstern Gate one Sunday at Archibald Gorey, died 1941. First heard him speak and was converted to the ideas of the Socialist League. Gorey was one from the middle class and was able to fund many activities over the coming years. And see, and that's just the same thing when I'm doing. I'm dealing with my European colleagues. They like, don't be afraid, she. They're like, if your brothers and sisters have money and don't want to help, come here. It's your mission, but it must be spread and it takes finances. Time was to note that whenever the train fare to bring a speaker from another town was wanting, or the rent for a hall to speak, it was deficient. Gorey's hand went into his purse, meaning anytime the brother came to do any work, lecture and everything, don't worry about it. Why? I got the people, we got this, you just come. The people here, we taking care of this. Why? Because we got, that's what we're supposed to do. If we want to learn this, and the sum was made up. Leicester had been a center of Chartism as well as Owenism, and had a tradition of open air meetings, which Barclay and his comrades took up once more. Meaning, I say, I welcome this to brothers and sisters from love, but we're not going to be on here arbitrarily explaining stuff and arguing over some fallacy while people pockets out here got holes in them. On March 18, 1888, Tom Barclay met together with Robson, active in the Leicester Amalgamated Hosiery Union, acronym LAHU, Ben Warner on the LAHU executive and the LAHU secretary, Jim Holmes, all these brothers. I don't want to stay too far in that. It's just a rich history of that. And I just want to set a precedent, you know? I'm just setting a precedent of what was here, you know? Because I'm on good time, because we're gonna bring it in with some science. Just like it's books that I have cost thousands of dollars, and you'd be like, why? Like if y'all look up this book right here, it's called Identity Regained by Scooty Face, also known as Rosa M. Willis. The Identity Regained, Black Man, You Are Ephraim. Like, okay, so Ephraim is Egypt and all that. And so it's books that's, you know, religious books, and a group of people say they Ephraim. Well, okay, well, if you Ephraim, then you got to say that your forefathers is a certain people. And then you wonder why all these books, I have all these books. Everything I have, I converted to PDF. That's why I be looking at Moors and I'm like, I just don't understand this. But my people are lost due to a lack of knowledge. Here it is. I took my whole academia career, converted books to PDFs, print and bind them, and college people get them, and other people get them, and I lecture, and my own people don't say, wait a minute. And then go on my YouTube page and be like, this man been doing this for years. And even before this man been a holy man in real life. Just like my European colleague, they'd be like, well, wasn't Malcolm sweet red before he became Malcolm? Yep. They're like, okay, well, you just went through the chambers of life, just like any other holy man. And they had a witness, and your people not accepting you. That's why I say others will accept you before your own kind. And I'm in a red state, which I tell people, this word got to go on. That's why I don't beg nobody from nothing. And I see our people wasting their money. And I can go to places where people say, hey, brother, wait a minute. You have all this research? We know who you are. You willing to do this? Yes. You know? And so these are some of the things that we talk about here at our temple and our school that we bring back to our remembrance from a historical aspect. It's so much history that can be revealed. And so when people be seeing signs and symbols and they be getting afraid and they be accusing me to be some Freemason like they tried to do our prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I tell people I'm transparent. I'm 99 degrees of ancient rite of Memphis and Israel. I'm anointed and consecrated. I'm initiated. I ain't took no oath. If I'm some Freemason or some Master Mason and some European or some Negro Masonry, well, you should be able to find the charter. I'm telling you, I'm 99 degrees of ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim. I'm telling you what I am. I confer my own degrees. I don't need to join no snowmen. just to have some regalia and they don't share the wisdom freely? No reason. I don't have to take no oath. Am I initiated? Yes. Have I took any oath? Hell no. I'm initiated with the wisdom and the understanding. And this is what I be trying to anoint to my brothers. What are you afraid of? I'll be asking brothers. I'll be like, what you afraid of? What you think you know? Because clearly most brothers don't know nothing about these signs and symbols of the primordial man. These signs and symbols of the primordial man. These signs and symbols of the primordial man that Albert Churchward speaks about. And in here is an introduction by John Henry Clark. It's just a lot of your brothers and sisters not going to tell you that they Freemasons or in Greek fraternities. No disrespect, like research Steve Coakley. And Steve Coakley got so many videos about the Greek is a fraud and all of other groups, you know. Research it, you know. And so let me give you a little introduction when I be telling my brothers and sisters, what are you afraid of? Every time you see me with signs and symbols, people start accusing, but don't know nothing. When they see the rose and the cross, oh, he got on the cross. No, I don't. I got on a rose and a cross. You're dealing with Melchizedek. You know, this is a rose and a cross. I'm always transparent. This is our signs and symbols. You're dealing with alchemy right here. If you don't understand what I'm saying, that's your fault. If I was some Freemason, I wouldn't be able to sit up here and say this. I know all the tricks, you know. I don't have to take no oath not to tell my brothers and sisters or teach my kids if I got something that's going to liberate them. What type of crap is that? Are we going to get deep with it? Y'all okay still?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Anything y'all got to say, interject anytime. You know, this is an open table. Y'all know how it is here with the BBT. But watch this. Dr. Albert Churchward, just like Gerald Massey, that wrote Natural Genesis, all those volumes. These was the other man. So let's listen what the other man said, my brothers and sisters. Since everybody want to be hating scholarship, and I say, well, I can show you European scholars that taught and that was educators in the first century. Just tell what it was. Just like Godfrey Higgins, he said what the first church father and what the identity was. So I don't know what people talking about. Dr. Albert Churchward was best known a British disciple for Gerald Massey, whose 6 volumes work. You got Ancient Egypt, y'all got it. The Light of the World, 2 volumes, y'all should have it. A Book of the Beginnings, we got it. It's 2 volumes. And Natural Genesis is 2 volumes as well. It set in motion a new, they want to say, radical approach to history of African civilization and the African contribution to the social thought that went into the making of the world's 3 major religions. And then you get these so-called sheiks talk about, oh, this, and this. No, the triple road is understand all the 3 religious right. The Fatimid, the Paraclete, the Jerusalem, or the Christianity per se. Well, what you mean? Nothing contribution to history without referring to his master teacher, Gerald Massey. Massey did not begin his career searching for Africa's place in the world or in world history. He was an agnostic. Y'all know what an agnostic is. If you don't, look it up. Whose intention was to prove that the basis of European civilization was created outside of Europe by people of that some Europeans later characterized as savages without a history or a culture. His search led him to Egypt, what of course, where he found proof that Western culture was, in fact, African in origin. Just like stolen legacy, what George G.M. James tell you, Greek history is nothing but stolen Egyptian history. It's just facts. And the larger portion, you say what, Noble?
Agnostic, believing in a higher power.
Yep. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And the larger portion of it coming mainly from the Nile Valley. His disciple, Albert Churchward, continued his important work. And in this book, takes his search into another dimension. Watch this, brothers and sisters. Men like Gerald Massey and Albert Churchward were battling against a wall of European misinformation about the contributions of non-European people toward the civilization of the world. And only a few radical European scholars were able to understand the full impact of Churchward's work at the time this book was written. What is essential messages of Albert Churchward today in an era of new scholarship and new and bold challenges? to old concept about the history of the world and the contribution of the misnomer African people toward the origin and development of the world civilization and culture. Oh yeah, brothers and sisters. Albert Churchward began his work with an examination of what? Freemasonry. Are you afraid of that? I need to go get my hat with my compass and square. I need to go get my hat to match my coat. Let me proceed. Because then I was getting good. It's rituals, signs, and symbols, and their contribution to social thought. What he is saying, brothers and sisters, in essence, is that Freemasonry, was a part of the Nile Valley civilization. By extension, he is also saying, my brothers and sisters, that higher learning, which was carefully guarded at earlier times in history, gave birth to secret societies. I showed y'all in here and how the secret societies, oh, that ain't it. Where's my book? The Negro, the Blackamoor, and all those created the Moorish Science Temple of America. I showed y'all the Nation of Islam had it in the 30s and then reissued in the 60s. Come on, man. It's just facts. What he says, in fact, is that the origin of the university comes out of Nile Valley civilization. African people developed signs and symbols as a way of communicating and delivering messages. It is most unfortunate that most people who today are members of secret societies have no in-depth knowledge of the history of the society and the unifying role it played in the early intellectual life of the Nile Valley. It is through Churchward's examination of most of the known cultures of people of his day that the signs and symbols of the primordial man is revealed. At this juncture, my brothers and sisters, we need to be reminded that the Nile Valley stretches over 4,000 miles into the body of Africa, and the creations of the Nile Valley civilizations cannot be attributed only to that portion of North Africa that the Greeks called Egypt, my brothers and sisters. See, the Nile River was the world's first great culture highway. As you was reading about the Picts Noble, Dantes, and you researching history, and as you see all the culture we always was by the water, you're going to be like, wait a minute, Sheik. Yeah. It's going to start just connecting the dots.
Or skilled in waterways.
Come on, Noble.
Definitely hear about water a lot.
Yes, sir. Mooring. There's nothing negative about these things. Bringing people and cultures out of the body of inner Africa. This great cultural migration led to the peopling of Egypt. Because you had Nubia and all that, people they migrated from certain areas now. Like we just broke down, a part of North Africa was the Barbary coast, the Barbary states. And that's just in one part of the continent of Africa. It was states in the Barbary area of North Africa. Come on, man. Then you got the other part of that great continent. Think about what I'm saying. Let's proceed. This great cultural migration led to the peopling of Egypt, making Egypt a composite or a cosmopolitan civilization comprised of different African people who dwelled along the banks of what? The Nile River, family. The civilization that developed in Egypt was the culmination of civilization in Africa. None of the components that went into the making of what we now call Egypt came from Europe or Western Asia, commonly called the Middle East. At this point in history, we cannot discuss Europe because there was no Europe in the name and as a political entity in the world. Europe didn't exist. There was no mention of Europe in early ancient history because at that time, family, Europe was busy trying to extract herself from the impact of what? The last so-called ice ages. See, you didn't have no ice age. That's why people be saying, caveman, let a person be the caveman. So if you a caveman and you didn't have this in schools and we can prove that we had schools and running water, why would you argue with a caveman and somebody say that they are Neanderthal? Why? I'm not wasting my time. I'm not. I'm not even going to waste my time. Surviving just because the European will tell you that what they are, Anglo-Saxon. And I show y'all European scholars that say it. They're like, well, Shiki, that's telling the truth. The Europeans say the Jews that say they are Jews, they're not. And he's like, what you mean? You know what I mean? My European professors will say this. In that context, when they be trying to make everything the color of you is bad, and everything in the color is describing all the church fathers in the Old and the New Testament. Don't be mad at me. Surviving and just staying alive was the most serious thing that the European were engaged in at that time in early history. That's all. In connection with this book, there is also a need to examine the works of one of the greatest American disciples of Gerald Massey. See, I can start pulling up all European teachers and scholars that agree with me. Write this down, because I got all the books for y'all. Alvin Boyd Kuhn. Alvin, Alvin Boydkuhn. Research what he said. He's best known for his books. And I quote, one of the books is, Who is the King of Glory? Beautiful book. And in my opinion, just like the author says, is one of the best books on early Christianity. Shadow of the 3rd century. It deals with the conference of Nicaea and its aftermath, especially the opinion of an African theologian known in history as St. Augustine. See, in reference to the European participation in the conference of Nicaea, St. Augustine say, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, these people are trying to revamp and give back to us a concept, Noble Dantes, that we had for over 3,000 years. St. Augustine, in identifying the early African origins of the concept that the Europeans would later call Christianity, is indicating that this concept existed among the African people without the dogma and formalization. Before the birth of Europe, in the introduction to Who is the King of Glory, Alvin Boyd Kuhn has this to say, and I quote again, eloquently with the silver tongue, brothers and sisters, the pick that struck the Rosetta Stone in the loamy soil of the Nile Delta in 1796 also struck a mighty blow at historical Christianity, for it released the voice of a long voiceless past to refute nearly every one of Christianity's historical claims with a withering negative. The cryptic literature of old Egypt sealed in silence when Christianity took its rise, but haunting it like a specter after the 3rd century, now stalks forth like a living ghost out of the tomb to point its long finger of accusation at a faith that has too long thriving on falsity. For that literature now rises out of oblivion to proclaim that the source of every doctrine of Christianity as Egyptian, the product and heritage of a remote past. Just like when you, no disrespect, I love all my brothers and sisters, but when Christians try to point the finger at someone and they got a log in their eye when someone might have a toothpick in their eye and you can help them, but I see Christians celebrating every pagan holiday and then they got the nerve to call somebody pagan. What the hell you talk about? Every damn pagan holiday you celebrate. In the Bible, in Jeremiah, it tells you not to celebrate Christmas, not to follow the Nicolaitans, not to follow Saint Nick. Read all Jeremiah 10. I ain't telling nobody what to do or what not to do. Read it for yourself. If you talk about you love the Bible and this, read the Bible. Read Jeremiah chapter 10 and read it all. And after you read Jeremiah chapter 10, all of it, not one line, come back to me and tell me your understanding you got. And did the Holy Spirit reveal something to you? If it didn't, so be it. If it do, then there you have it. Because the Bible tells you not to get a Christmas tree and not to cut it down and not to put this. It tells you not to follow the Nicolaitans following Saint Nick. The Bible say that, not me. Not me. Not me. Read it for yourself. It ain't even long. But the books of old Egypt now unroll the sages of wisdom, which announce the inexorable truth that not a single doctrine, right, tenet, or usage in Christianity was a new contribution to the world religion. But that very article and practice of that faith was a disfigured copy of the ancient Egyptian systemism. Man, one of my European professor said, he was like, Christians, and this is a European, he was like, well, if we love Jesus so much, why one time out the year we say Santa Claus and it replaces Jesus? I said, I don't know. That's a good question. Because the Bible says you don't put no man before the creator or nothing like that. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then he like, that's Yule. Don't y'all know it was movies, and I forget the name of it, and they had the scary Santa Claus come take the kids. It's called something. Don't be mad at me.
In the story of Jesus and Santa Claus, they both represent the oil, right? Going down.
In that, you said the oil?
The oil.
Well, of course, metaphysically, of course, because of course you know. Yeah, of course. But as I close with this aspect, we're going to go on. Of course, the entire Christian Bible, creation legend, descent into the Exodus from Egypt, Ark, the flood, the allegory, the Israelite history, Hebrew prophecy, poetry, gospel, epistles, revelation, imagery, all are now proven to have been transmission of ancient Egyptian scrolls and papyri into the hand of the later generations, which knew neither their true origin nor their fathomless meanings. But the sheer fact that even amid the murks of ignorance and superstition, the mere ghost, the shell, the husk, and shadow of Egypt's wisdom inspired religious piety to extremes of faith and zealotry is singular attestation of its original power and majesty, family. From the scrolls of papyri, 5,000 to 10,000 years old, when people be saying, well, we only this years old and humans only this years old pertaining to the Bible. How can that be? And we got documents and things that's way older than that. Stop the cap. It's not historical. Now, you can believe whatever you want to. I'm not going to argue with no one. You're not historical. You can't be a scholar to say something that's asinine, and you can find writings from people from a certain area that's way older than what you promulgating. From the scrolls of papyri, 5,000 to 10,000 years old, there comes stalking forth to view the whole story of an Egyptian Jesus raising from the dead, an Egyptian Lazarus at the Egyptian Bethany, with two Egyptian Maries present, the non-historical prototype of the incitement related only in John's Gospels. In a collective way, Gerald Massey, the master, and his disciples, Albert Churchward, and Alvin Boyd Kahn, have revealed the early African origins of the three major Western religions. And that's what I'm saying. I'm tired of misnomering black people talk about this, or masonry. No, it ain't. It ain't. No, it ain't. No, it theirs. You just mad because you took an oath not to tell the truth. He revealed this, that the early African origins of the three major Western religions, all of these concepts were developed before the Bible was written and before the figure in history known as Jesus Christ was born. Albert Boyd Kahn book, The Lost Christianity, also needs to be read. And my professors be recommending this for all melanated brothers. They're like, y'all just don't know. I said, oh, I know. A lot of our other brothers don't know because they still on their knees. Kuhn's book, The Lost Christianity, also needs to be read as an extensive of the views expressed in the above quoted works. Even Dr. Yosef Ben Jochanan, even John G. Jackson, and other modern scholars have reconsidered this information and prepared it for the use and understanding for students and teachers of our time. I refer you to Dr. Jochanan, Dr. Ben's book, The African Origins of the Major Western Religions, and John G. Jackson's Man, God, and Civilization. And in conclusion, as they say in the legal profession, I rest my case. You feel me? I rest my case. I love Noble Drew Ali and all that, but I ain't just putting my faith in man. I'm a historian today in the flesh and alive. When people, I thought we were Moroccan. Well, what are you talking about? Moroccan what? I'm a Moorish American. Why I say I'm a Moorish American? Because I got African descent or Moroccan descent, whatever. But I ain't just gonna listen to nobody say I'm some Moroccan. I'm not. No, I'm an American. I'm what? I'm a Goodman. I'm a Goodman first. My whole family lineage is Goodman. Be here in America, own land, cattle, own potato farms. Here go my family Crest. On my arm, I'll tell you who I am. I don't have no history of no slavery from my father's father. None. Zero. Not one. So why I'm gonna promulgate some slave stuff? And then when I say Africa per se, you got to understand the first Americans were African. I understand. I know we can be politically correct. It's right here. What was in the Americas? It's right here. People like, well, that ain't what Noble Drew Ali said. Man, I don't want to hear all that. I deal with the truth of the matter. I'm alive. I don't hate nobody, but I'm going to teach history. And I'm going to drop it on the table. I'm going to leave it exactly how it is, Noble Dantes. So just like people be talking about this science, okay, I got about 10, 20 more minutes. I'll give y'all a little preface of this science. When people be afraid of these signs and symbols and they don't have no idea of what's going on, especially with this science. I could talk about so much ancient wisdom, about our prophet, and about what he's done, when I tell people our nationality, all that. But I want to jump to some importance because I want to stay specific, I want to give y'all a little bit of this. These might be some questions that may come up. What was the Holy Prophet's mission? It was to save Asiatics during a period of grace. When did the grace period start? 1913. When did it end? 2001 CE. How did our prophet travel? By the compass and square, the same way I did. Explain it. It's in your Moore's Quran. Just like I teach people before you put things on. All my brothers is raised up with wisdom. And they know man over us. I don't give a damn how many raggedy Moorish Science Temple old men out here that's broke. They can't say nothing to none of my brothers and sisters. One, I'm anointed through the temple. I start pulling out all the documents that's going to tell the truth. The rest of these cronies just doing whatever they want to. I don't bash the temple or nothing. What I did, what the prophet said, create your own school. I don't got to create another Moorish Science Temple. It's already established. I am the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School for a group of Moors or anybody that want to learn can come and can teach you who you are for we can rock as one nation. We can rock as one nation. I don't care if you know God and earth or this and that and the other. We should have a common denominator. And we ain't even there yet. Why? Because Moors can't even get along. That's why I'm not worried about that. So let's proceed. He said we travel by our compass and our square to keep our carnal desire under control. We pick up our square to straighten out our crooked places of the fall of humanity to make the corners of our conduct square. A lot of these Moors conduct not square. How did the prophet travel? Our prophet traveled by the Masonic order until he became a noble, then entered Islam. And people be afraid about, I said, this is the Masonic order. We are Masons. When I break down C. Freeman L chart, I be tripping why I don't understand why brothers don't understand the cloth, acting like it's something scary. This ain't no Prince Hall, Negro, low-level snowman science. They took an oath not to tell you the truth. That's why the European would tell you that he or she is a son of a Muslim. I already showed y'all this. It's only black Masons that'll tell you that they're a widow's son. No European Mason, I don't care what set they are, they will tell you that they're some widow's son. They will laugh. It'll be offensive. They'll tell you that they're a son of a Muslim. Only black Masons will tell you they're a widow's son. Point blank. Who represented in Islam? Our prophet. How did our prophet enter that way? Through the shrine, same way I did. Did he enter Islam that way? Come on. Or does this mean that any of y'all brothers should become Masons or Shriners? No. If you understand what I'm saying, that's why when brothers, I be right here in the flesh that done things that's organized and consecrated. I'm right here. But brothers want to join some lower because a whole bunch of pageantry outside stuff. And if it was so powerful, why don't you see them brothers outside in the real world? Why don't you see all the Prince Hall Masons, all those so-called this and that and the other? Why don't you see them out in the real world recruiting brothers and talking to the Moors and all that? Telling the truth about the science, because the European will, because they know clearly who Noble Drew Ali is. See? No, you don't need to join no masonry or no lower level snowman wisdom. Why? Why it's not? Because the prophet, myself, gave you 32 and 33 degrees in your divine instruction too. And people be like, what? That's why I be telling us. My people are lost due to a lack of knowledge because they refuse to learn. They refuse to learn who they are. All they want to do is file some cheap paperwork and don't understand how we come together. That's a nation. These Negroes want to be sovereign citizens, and oxymoron, listen to criminals, flashing dollars. That's what these Negroes want. When we place the tarba and the mithra is your turban. And people be saying that's what it is. And so when you got that turban on your head, you should know something. Or your captor, aka on your crown. And I delivered the science. That's why all my nobles, they're noble mufti ministers. Because the science has been given to them as a map and a guide, as a sensei, as a Sufi. It's like when we're going through martial arts. If I'm teaching you Wing Chun, this is a whole discipline. Who among the highest of Rome enter al-Islam by practice? Masons. At what degree? Only 32. Negroes ain't even passing that. What is the secret password? Assalamu alaikum. Ask him. What happens then? A Mason bows to his knees to Islam, proclaims that Allah is God, becoming a practicing Muslim. That's why when I be around most European Masons, they always in respect. When I say shut the light out, it don't be no disrespect. It's just understanding. When a lot of people say, "Are you a traveler to the East?" No, you know I'm not. I'm a traveler over everywhere. Conferred degrees. I don't have to explain myself to no Negro that want to question me. I'm not wasting my time with that. I'm part of the Philosophical Research Society as well. In LA. I'm transparent. Why are Shriners considered the joke of Masonry? Because they left Christianity to practice a religion other than that of their forefathers. What exactly is the Al-Islam religion that the Masons proclaim and practice? The issues and practices of Arabian mixed with a select version of faith, of the Qurayshite, of the Moor, of Muhammad. But you know, in the middle of Muhammad, that's the astrological sign with the sun all off of it. That's the real clock of destiny. I'll teach it at another time. Anything outside yourself is true shirk. But I don't have a problem with nobody doing 5 salats. I'm down with the al-salat. That's done standing up. I don't have no problem with nothing else. I ain't Orthodox, I ain't this, I do things the Moorish way. But I don't have no problem with nobody doing nothing their way. But you can't say it's Moorish, and I don't care what nobody say. I connect myself to God. The God knew that was going to take a long time for the slave to go out and pray. But that's the time for the God to rest. It's all in the Quran. It's all in the ayats. Everybody that's a Quranic student know I'm telling the truth. If not, then you okay with being a slave? I don't have no problem with that. There's always going to be some slaves. No disrespect. What exactly is Al-Islam? Oh, I told y'all that. Okay. Is the Arabian Al-Islam our religion? No. We Islamism, Sufism, the religion of our forefathers. Islamism is universal law in harmony with the self, resulting in peace. That's why you always hear me say peace, 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 peace. Why? Because I ain't submitting to nothing. I have peace with the higher and the lower. How can I be a total God, man? I got to cut an extremity off me saying a part of me is evil. I'm dead. I have to control it. Why? Because the pendulum swings the same way to the left as it does to the right. I am the master of this. It's God in me. Anything outside myself is true shirk. The science and study of self-mastery, that Allah and man are one. Al-Islam being the Arabic for peace, which was perfected by Muhammad into the Quraysh and the Arabic, and has since, unlike Islamism, the Prophet Noble Drali, brought Moorish Americans, been viewed by the world much like catechism, in that the premise is to serve a God which exists outside of man himself. See? What is another term for Al-Islam? Islamism as the old-time religion of the ancient Egyptian mystery system, meaning to hope secure, meaning to know thyself. So I'm just answering a question that was asked to me. Can a Moorish American be a Mason also? No. Why would you want to be? Why would you want to know me and then say I just joined Freemasonry? Now you dropping your. They're just like you in you going to doctorate classes with me, and then you go all the way down to community college classes. And then got the nerve to act like you know something because you can put on a whole bunch of regalia. All that's doing is saying that you can do business with me, boy. No disrespect, because that's what they're looking at you. And then you wear a shirt with Tubal Cain on it with your balls off. And then you talk about have a shirt with in memory of Haram Abiff. So you buried in a shallow grave, huh? They won't tell you about Jablel, Jablum, and Jablim in the Bible. That's supposed to kill you. They won't tell you about that. Can you confound further on the science of the Shriner being labeled the joke of masonry? Absolutely. The European is not the joke of masonry. I keep telling y'all, the misnomer black man is the joke of masonry. Why? Because he would clearly out his mouth would tell you, oh yeah, I'm a son of a Muslim. I'm a widow son. They would tell you that. And I would say, well, how are you a widow son? Can you explain that? Can't even explain it. But I leave it alone. This takes us into the history of the Moors or the Moors dance. What is the Moors dance? It's a dance borrowed from the Moors. When you see other so-called Sufis, European Sufis, no disrespect, and you'll be seeing them swirling and swirling and swirling. I can go deep with the history, or more accurately, an imitation of their dance. Who adopted and borrowed the dance? Many groups of people throughout Europe, extending to the so-called Middle East, India, parts of Central and South America. Just like, no disrespect, just like the Orthodox European Jews, or, you know, in a certain part of their area, they take the chicken and throw it on the roof. And that comes from the continent of Africa. And then they try to say everything you do is devil worshiping and all that. But then they take your history and rock with it. Ain't that a bleed? Ain't that a bleed? But what you do ain't worthy. They ain't kill animals, but you do the same thing. Do any of these groups understand the science of the Moors dance in its pure form? You see? It's lacking many elements. Watch this. I got a little bit more for y'all. We're going to go to the next part. You ask some more, or what form of Islam do we adhere to? Sufi. What is Sufi teachings? Islamism, that man and Allah is one. How is this proven? By our Quran. What is surah and verse? Surah 2, verse 31 and 34. Who built the holy city of Mecca? Moabites. Where is the holy city of Mecca? On the land of the ancient Moorish, on the Moabites and the Canaanites. On what landmass is the holy city of Mecca? North American 42nd parallel. Mecca is where the prophet is. How you know this to be true? I told you, the holy city of Mecca. And also read in your so-called 7 Quran. Do I got more evidence? We must consider who and by what names throughout Moorish astrological account who the ancient Canaanites were. So let's deal with it. What are some of the names? Now, write this down. Phoenicium. Phoenicium. P-O-E-N-I-C-I-U-M. What does Phoenicium mean? Carthaginian. Phoenician. What period? Between 800 and 146 BC. The ancient Moorish kingdom of Carthage. What's the modern name of this kingdom? Tunis. Do we have documented evidence? Of course. You know, of Carnage or Canaanite America, aka Mecca connection. When you see the deed, when you research this, when you can research scholarship, it's the deed of the ancient Canaanite. It's called the Carnagish Sufite Hanno Bey, 3rd generation of Empress Elizabeth. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Gostin El Bey, daughter of King Muda I and great-grandfather of Golian. Morosini, General Hannibal is an ancient document by express epigraphical proclamation inscribed on the Bourne Stone found at Cossamokunakit, Cape Cod Bay, New England, Massachusetts, documented in the Bourne Historical Society. It's there. What does the deed proclaim? It describes its terms of metes and bounds. It describes it there. I'll give y'all another little bit of more science. Watch this. I hope you write this down. Watch this. Okay, so let me give you another, what it talks about. The possessions and annexations of the Americas to the Iberian Peninsula, Carthage, Tunis, Marrakesh, Numidia, Utica, etc., being those same possessions of Northeast and Southwest Africa, what our prophet was telling us, including North, Central, and South America, Mexico, and the Atlantis Islands. All Masons know this, especially my Scottish Rite Masons. Where else is this documented? And is there any certified tangible evidence, i.e. legal documents, of our title to the American lands? the Moorish American Society of Comprehensive Science, National Legation, Department State Bureau of Administration, and Library of Congress. How is it documented? It's documented in evidence by proclamation and sovereign trust for Moorish Americans. So write the pages of the consecrated talisman recorded as a legal document in the Library of Congress as certified registration. Number T is capitalized XU, 123-633, and control catalog. It got the numbers 71-330-6977 in parentheses U, then comma 2. The Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs and Border. They got it all there. They got the recorded date. What language was Hannibal Bay proclamations written before its English translation and transliteration? The answer says North Semitic, Iberian, Moorish, Punic script, which was a later form, Noble Dantes, of the ancient Moabite characters. By legal definition, what is a document? An instrument on which it is recorded by means of letters, figures, or marks, the original, official, or legal form of something which may be evidentially used. Now watch this. Can you expound? Watch this, y'all. The document applies to writings, words, printed, lithographed, or photographed, to maps. Now remember, I talk about the cartographers, or plans to seal, and you talk about the ground plans for certain areas, and we talk about the ground plans for Louisiana Purchase, and people try to throw you off the breadcrumbs. The plates or even stones on which inscriptions are cut and engraved. Epigraphy, the Bornstone inscriptions of Hannibal Bay. Now write this down. It's a book called the Book of Belimote. And when I pull that out, y'all gonna be like, whoa, write this down when you research what is the Book of Belimote. And y'all tell me what y'all get when y'all do some research. It's spelled Balllymote. An Arabic and rare manuscript housed in the libraries of the bishops of the Roman Catholic Church, containing priceless information on the ancient Ogham writings, Ogamwriting. And all this stuff was given to me. That's why I'd be laughing. I'd just be sitting back, and my professor was like, it only take you 30 minutes and you can rest your case with no rebuttal with all the information and be done. And we ain't got to huff and puff and snot at the nose. We can rest our case and it would be no rebuttal. Like my professor said, they ain't got to like your candor, She Goodman Bay. This celebrated book was assembled about 800 years ago from a collection of miscellaneous manuscripts. The last manuscript included the codex. Remember, when we talk about Codex Sinaiticus, you got all different type of codex. You got all different type of codex, from the Olmec Codex that's going to show you we're all the same people. I'm telling you. It's a codex called the OGAM Dantes, the Ogham Tract, OGAMTRACT. You know? And it comes with 70 varieties of ancient Moorish, Moabite, and Canaanite, and Iberian script. When Moors, we talk about some Anunnaki. The Anunnaki ain't nothing but the Iberian. When you see those pictures, you see the hair, the braids, you see the tunic, cotton or silk, you see the girdle. I don't know what people be talking about. You see the topi on their head, but you're going to let pseudo-academia, Eurocentric and Negrocentric tell you that it's some Anunnaki. And that's all I did is some Zachariah Stinson, low-level Freemasonry snowman wisdom that brothers take. And then they be quoting that Zachariah Stinson pseudo stuff. Sad day for us. Where else is this rare book housed? This book is in the 502 Folio Villium. It's in a leaf skin page book of Belima. They got it at the Catholic Church where my professor is the priest at. They got one there. I got copies of them. It's housed in the library of the Irish Academy in Dublin, Ireland. So when you go back to a lot of those brothers I was showing you, they know all this. That's how they got them documents. They was proving who they are, and they were able to do their things because they had these ancient documents. I showed y'all the brother that was from Ireland. I just showed y'all the Tom Barclay. This is where these areas they were from, who stumbled upon the ancient Moorish writings of America. Harvard professor and epigrapher Barry Fell. Where did he find explanations about the ancient Moorish, Canaanite, Phoenician, Iberian document of America? The answer is in Dublin, Ireland, in the book of the Leinster. Write this down because I got them. It's called the Book of Leinster. Leinster, housed in the library at the University of Dublin. Just like when I be talking about ancient maps and they be all in universities about the cartographers, how I show you all that, compiled by a bishop of Kildare named Finn Mac Gorman, Finnmac Gorman. Fact check me. What did our holy noble Drew Ali bring to us? Love. And what is love? That which creates, that which destroys, and that which saves. What is our prophet? What am I in the flesh? An angel. What kind? A cherubim. Who was Moses? The real son of Pharaoh. What was his nationality? Moorish, Egyptian. What was his crime? Adopting the faith of the Hebrews. What did Moses do? Reject the idea gods of Egypt. What took place? Remember, Moses became an outcast amongst his father's house, killed an Egyptian, fled into the land of Moab. What else took place? Moses met a sheik who practiced the faith of Abraham, Lot, Moab, and Ishmael. Fact check me. What did Moses discover? Himself. Who was Aaron to Moses? His prophet. See, I can go on and show you stuff about what is the Moorish American Society of Comprehensive Science, the foreign ministry, the national legation, the biliac of a talismanic Moorish kingdom. But a lot of stuff that I get into that I had the pleasure to study and had the auspices to learn and bring it back to my brothers and sisters, you have to be a student. And I don't understand why brothers and sisters don't want to learn from their own brother. It baffles me when others do. Okay, I got a little bit more time. I'll give y'all a little bit of history about not being afraid of signs and symbols. I'll just give you a little crash course. Is that all right, Nobles? Is that all right for me to go a little bit longer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Whoever that was that gave that generous donation, man, thank you. I don't know who it is, so I'm not going to say your handle, but golly, thank you. And whatever you need, let me know. Gratitude. But anyway, okay. When I talk about Freemasonry, I'm not directing no energy or thoughts to Western Freemasonry, because there's a distinction between Western Freemasonry, usually called Freemasonry, and old-time Masonry. Masonry, as originally developed by the God-man of Africa, was designed as a ladder which climbed from the finite to the infinite heart of fallen humanity, back to the heart of our Creator. These holy instructions became a 24/7 way for us, for masterminds. Carnal men later reduced this spiritual unfoldment to a 1 to 4 hours a week ritual called religious services. In true Masonry, brothers and sisters, there are a series of tools used to create a building not made by hands, the temple of the perfected man. When Europeans pillaged the universities, the temples, and the lodges of the ancient Egyptians, they stole and killed for everything they could see. And they'll tell you, it's in the history. Collectively, these sacred pathways are called Solomon's Temple. But I can show you what's under Solomon's Temple as well. That's for a whole nother teaching. Later, the stolen tools, the symbols, the rituals were used to build the Roman Catholic, the York, and the Scottish Rite orders, and used against the African victims. That's why in the Bible, Jablel and Jablum and Jablim, what? They killed Haram Abith. Think about it. You can't be mad at me. As my noble Brian always say, think about it. Wrap your mind around it. And had a jubilee. It's in your Bible. These Western orders now beehived into other orders. So when people be saying the Illuminati, they ain't no Illuminati. We are the enlightened ones. You're dealing with the Ross and the cross right in your face. I'm telling you, a Ghostbuster in your face right here. It would be nothing but a game of cavemen if all the African valuables, including the crescent, the moon, the scimitar, and the fez weren't removed. If the scimitar and the fez, if I start showing you all Europeans in Masonry when they got the crescent and the star, and they got Morocco on their fez and Islam, you don't know what they saying? Sad in the mug. When you see the European ladies that call themselves Eastern Star, and they wear the white fez with the cold gold tassel, and they call themselves some Eastern Star, and our empresses don't want to deal with me, and I tell you, no, you a star of the East, and you wear your white tassel with the gold fez freely, because the DAR is the Daughters of American Revolution that came up with the marriage civil contract. No disrespect. Nevertheless, when Freemasonry is used in this science, I'm talking about Western Freemasonry. See? To most devoted Masons, as I'll explain later in another teaching, Freemasonry, a god made of certain European men whom they self-serve religiously. No disrespect. Freemasonry, as one of the most powerful gods of Europe, is the source from which the pale-skinned males drew the strength to give themselves the title of white. No disrespect. Today, white is accepted as a normal and often understood as proper when Europeans are being addressed. Everything about you is black is negative. Blackball. We're gonna blackmail them. You know? Or everything was dark. You go to a funeral, you wear black. Why not wear all white? However, in the ministries of our prophet and what I teach, that's Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda. That's right, Noble. What is the title that Satan gives himself? God. When I talk about this, we talk about the mighty fraternal order that all blacks and Negro and colored people call Europeans their God. No disrespect. Every time they call them white. No, and I'm saying because it's nothing behind that. Watch this, y'all. The bit of trivia is simply to direct the interest of the magnitude of the works of Freemasonry and its impact of the profane world, forcefully isolated outside of lodges. I heard an empress on YouTube, and somebody sent it to me, and I'm being straight up because I'm gonna always be transparent. And if you won't hear empress, I feel sad for that type of people. She talking about she getting harassed by Freemasons and all this. I said that is not how Freemasonry works. If it's some Freemasons harassing you in your city, that's men for what? For you speaking the truth? That's a gang. And they need to be sit their butt down. Why should some group of Masons be messing with some women for speaking the truth? And you say you got something that's so good for misnomer black people, you ain't even gonna tell the truth. And you wear your fez in clandestine. And you got a potentate over you. And you're not gonna tell the truth. And you say you a widow's son. Stop the cap. That's why these men are always trying to pick on women. And I say that's whack because it's a cult. They don't know what they're talking about. And all this stuff is free. And I'm telling you right here, as a God man, watch this. Watch this. All the grips, the signs, the passwords, the rituals, is purposely admitted for what I'm going to say. Out of respect of intentional and ill-placed secrecy of faithful and revealing facts. The European is not necessarily for the true manumissions to the people of Africa. Basically, these are mere inners of masonry, recognizing and verifying one's awareness of a certain body that still lie in a particular tomb. The purpose of this, watch this, is to merely to breathe life into the unconscious psyche of the Moors, but to exhume our bodies whole as a people, intact as a nation. Surely, as Brother Yahshua told John in the biblical scriptures, the truth can make it free. The truth can make it free. Don't you want the truth? Or you can't handle the truth. In any case of raising the dead, being the handiwork of masterminds, it's always the conquest of that illusionist obstacle between dormant life and the certainty of its resurrection. As the entity of Freemasonry and the role it played in the resurrection of the so-called Negro people. If a person needs to get from Wednesday to Friday, he or she must go through Thursday. You see? And if it's not disrespectful to go through Thursday from the day through its night to reach Friday, it's a necessity. So in the course of human events, it's just as natural fact. Someone put Friday behind Thursday. Like so, when one wants to get to the tomb of the unknown nation, buried underneath the Constitution of the United States, where the unconscious African rulers lay in state. He or she must go through the secret seal of Freemasonry. This mighty fraternal order is a secretly sealed stone of opposition that guards the entrance of the dismal crypt. Don't y'all see when y'all saw Thor and y'all saw Idris Elba as the gatekeeper? The person at the door that let everybody in? History occurred during the later few centuries, reveals someone placed these events in certain order. All my European Masons know. They say, you just Melchizedek, sir. I know. Today, Freemasonry stands as the major blockage to a lot of Negro, blacks, and colored people. I know a lot of Masons that's preachers right now and will not tell the truth. And I ain't got to say their names. I know them. I went to high school with them. And they Prince Hall Masons, and they get in the pulpit and will not tell the truth. Still today. I say, why not? But they be smiling like a Chester cat, showing all their teeth with their regalia on, but won't tell them what that regalia means. You'll never see them with a fez on in real life. Ask them why they tassel pinned down. Ask them why they fez got pentagram instead of circles. If it's so prophetic for brothers and sisters, why you ain't teaching the whole world freely? Why you don't got junior Masons and all that? Ask them. You know? Don't be mad at me. Today, Freemasonry stands, it's a blockage. Ordained, attained of nationhood under their one free national name. My homie said, please don't stop. I got to in a minute, man. I'm sorry, I got my other social media up, man, from school. Like, please don't stop. Because he said he got his dad on here. He said his dad, you telling 100% truth. I start pull out everything from my ancient rite of Memphis and Mizraim, and all the spirit builder stuff. Watch this. Watch this, y'all. To understand the history of anything, the subject must be placed in the proper light, time, and context. When I be telling people, stay in context. During the past 400 years, per se, it's been hundreds of millions of people on both sides of the end of the whip who have died in awe of the lock on the so-called African slave. Watch this. It's been countless prayers, songs, books written, laws passed, tears shed, and untold other keys tried. But the old Dutch master's lock has denied entry to them, all of them. This lock is a secret conspiracy entrusted deep in the lodges of Freemasonry. And I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all the master key. I'm gonna show y'all the representation that the master key for the especial lock. I can't say I'm a liberator and I'm here to teach freedom that the Bible said, that the God man said, to come and get people out of bondage and slavery. That's what I'm doing. I ain't worried about nobody. I tell people, a Negro killed my baby brother or killed Jelani Goodman Bay. I had to bury my own brother. I had to bury my big cousin, Miguel Swain. I had to bury my friend I graduated from high school with, Michael Blackmore, by a Negro. Do you think I'm afraid to tell the truth? I give my life willingly with no problem. Don't fear nothing. I stand on God's word as a soldier, both feet in. Ain't no lukewarm about me. That's why with my European professors, they were like, that man on fire. I base my understanding on the scriptures. What you afraid of? Well, the Bible says this. No, it don't. If I give it to you and the Bible says this, stop following the Nicolaitans, following St. Nick, getting the Christmas tree, and you still do it. But you say, well, the Bible this, and I just gave you the Bible, and the Bible says clearly not to follow Nicolaitans, follow St. Nick. Then you operating on your own understanding. Don't come back to me looking at me crazy. Because clearly you don't read the Bible. You just want somebody you want to be preached to. But to understand this history of anything, you got to deal with in proper context. It's been hundreds of millions of people on both ends. Like I said, countless prayers. Now watch this. Only love divine at the age of the touch of time. We say we in the age of Aquarius and we still afraid to teach the truth. Still, we can turn the key that has been locked, a clean and pure nation, from the material world. Watch this. And I understand only Masons above ground would not be offended. See, only Masons above ground would not be offended. What I'm saying, if you're a Mason underground, then of course you're going to be offended. Of course. And I don't care. But Masons above ground, they ain't gonna be offended because they know I'm telling the truth, and the truth will set you free. Knowing many of those being exhumed will unnaturally fight the light by defending the darkness of the entombment. So when you get that tomb, the shallow grave of Freemasonry, who is buried there, and they got that tree right in front of it, which is the acacia tree, which Negro, I don't know what that means. You do know what that acacia tree means. That right there is where they buried you. That's why when I be telling the Greeks and all that, the Greek is a fraud. Jerome, our buddy, what's his name? It'll come to me. All the stuff of the Greek is a fraud. You can pull him up. Stephen Coakley. Pull him up. You know, it ain't I'm not disrespecting no one. I'm showing you why we held back. You know? What? No disrespect when I say European. If they say European created everything, I don't have a problem with saying European or Albion or Tralodite. What Master Masons don't want you to know. They call you profane. What they don't want to know, the profane world, is who's buried there. And your Bible reveals this. Your Bible. And our prophet said, just like I said, I have come to take the covers off all secret societies. All of them. All of them. And then when brothers see me, they be so mad of this light. Oh, he a Master Mason. No, your daddy a Master Mason. No, your daddy ain't even a Master Mason. Your dad's still an apprentice in the Blue Lodge as a Prince Hall Masonry. They don't know too much of nothing. No disrespect. The real foundation of Western Freemasonry rests upon an awful murder. Watch this. This murder is a pogrom, P-O-G-R-O-M, of the God-man of the Nile, the African kings and the indigenous African nationals. This capital crime included the subjugation. I broke that down biblically about Samson and biblically about Southern Belle when I showed you the book of America in Black and White and how they whitewashed Peter Salmon and Oliver Cromwell out the Battle of Bunker Hill. I show you this. But the subjugation of Africans through the dousing of light in Egypt and the obscurity of the true Garden of Eden. You know? This homicide is disguised in the Constitution of Freemasonry as what, y'all? Ask your dad that's a Mason. Ask him what it's disguised as. I tell you, you ain't got to ask him. It's the killing of Hiram Abiff, the widow's son. Ask him that. The embodiment of this slave and unquestionably the master crime of the times. Hiram's death depicts a history from the first from the first physical African man to be enlightened with wisdom to the last kingdom, the European, to become civilized with knowledge and back again. So to understand this murder, brothers and sisters, is to free the misnomer Negro from his disguised grave of perpetual slavery. And what do it say Yahshua was here to do? To get people out of bondage of slavery. I'm just doing my Father's business. I'm liberating. I'm bringing justice. Using the only divine key that will separate this mystery, aka secret, from where it is lodged in Freemasonry. Although Freemasonry is not a religious order, it is predominantly structured from the Bible, the Torah, the Vedas, and the Holy Quran. All of these books lay open on a Masonic altar. Ask any Mason. If they tell you that ain't the truth, they lying. Pending the height of their degree. Pending the height of their degree. So if they still an apprentice, like a lot of black Masons, well, they probably don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They don't even know how to use their compass and square. But the parable of Hiram Abiff, where it can be found in the Torah, in the Old Testament, in 1 Kings, the 7th chapter, this Masonic history, you heard what I said, history is more of a cover-up than a book. See, they be mad when I get there, but I ain't afraid of no ghost. It is similar to the fallacy of having a criminal describe his own crime. Because of this covert activities, it would take me so long to explain the magnanimous essence, the need to know. And since this murder has been not been publicly reported, the true characters will be revealed because there is no innocent to protect. That's why I be telling people there ain't no innocent to protect. People be like, are you afraid to tell the truth? I just told y'all a Negro killed my baby brother, killed Jelani Goodman Bay for nothing. Do you think I'm afraid to tell the truth? I ain't afraid of nothing. And my brother is definitely not my enemy. Brother that don't look like that, ain't nobody no enemy. I got peace. I'll walk right past you. I'm act like I'm on a genie on a magic carpet. I'll float right past you. Ain't got time. I ain't debating nobody or arguing with no lower spirit. Why? I only debate my equals. Not arguing with nobody that'll tell you they dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. That ain't wise. Not only has this murder gone unreported, but also because of the great conspiracy. Those who have been most victimized now carry the label black. I told you, put death in front of everything you call black. Dead banks, dead churches, dead marriages, but we still deal with that black. This is the black church, dead. Why you think a black preacher can't be a witness? He gonna get subpoenaed because black have no standing in law. You go confined to your black preacher and they know he gonna get subpoenaed and he gonna have to tell. Why you think the Sopranos always confined to their priest to get that off their chest? Why? Because he got client, lawyer and client confidentiality. Blacks don't have nothing, nothing. You get subpoenaed. You know, we God men. So I'll give a little bit more and I gotta go. But I told y'all that seek even what's buried in the tomb. Western Freemasonry and African self-mastery, whose ancient educators were centered in Kemet, Egypt. No disrespect. And the European orders of Freemasonry are built upon the letter of universal laws stolen from Africa's grand temples. Everything from the tools, the signs, the symbols. Hell, and like my homeboy just said, he lied. You just gave Albert Churchward. Telling you what it is, how can any black Mason still go not rock with you unless they got something to hide? That's why I say the European is laughing at us, because they'll call themselves a son of a Muslim, and we'll say we some widow son. They built upon the letters, every tools, signs, symbols, the most manifest by the carnal eye, were pillaged northward in Europe. At all costs, Western Freemasonry should never be construed as something beneficial to African children. No disrespect. All lodges of European Freemasonry are built upon sciences, tools, signs, symbols, laws, rituals, pillages from temples and universities, lodges and pyramids of Northeast and Northwest Africa. Contrary to the Masons' decree of being free, ancient, and accepted, Freemasonry and its establishments today only recently began at the turn of the 18th century. So how can it be ancient? Its first recorded meetings was held June 24th, 1717 in London, England, in a tavern called the Goose of Gridiron. That go back to your memory? The social gathering of England's aristocrats. Those are men of wealth, education, formulated the Masonic order out of boredom. And they were the elites. They separated from the have-nots and believed that they could make good men better. James Anderson, D.D., and the Reverend John de Grulius, scientist, philosopher, and third Grand Master Center of the founding rituals upon what they knew of the Egyptian Adat religions of Isis and Osiris. Just like when I talk about the book Atlantis of Latter Days, the ancient book that we got, and the European call itself El Elyon. They know what I'm talking about, but we don't. What was the mother of all world religions and the ancient Egyptian mystery system, the perfection of God and man, has been rearranged into the 3 degrees of Masonry. Most of their structures, both buildings and constitution, were taken from the original African God-man, mainly Solomon, in the building of his temple. I got you, Noble. Gratitude for the donation. Yet the lessons can reach as far back to when the leprous, pale skin, no disrespect, people were first cast out of Amexima. No disrespect. The Encyclopedia Britannica described Freemasonry as the world's largest secret society. Malcolm C. Duncan, but we can dispute that because I showed you documents of the ancient and mystic rite. I showed you in 1800s by Noble Passionim in the Negro of the Blackamoor, which the Al-Islam Muslims with the Nation of Islam had. So I'll give y'all a little bit more and we out of here. The Masonic coffin in Africa's acacia tree. In Freemasonry, the coffin is showcased as an emblem of mortality. Now, let's break these words down in syllables. The prefix mort, M-O-R-T, always relate to what? Death. The word mortality refers to human death on a massive scale. Disease, war, catastrophe, genocide, whatever. So therefore, the West African God-man, who civilized Spain, Italy, Portugal for 800 years, was the secret and trusted keeper of the ancient mystery system of God and man. His infinite wisdom is the true tools which build Solomon's temple. The lodges of Western Freemasonry used a coffin to conceal their murder of this West African God-man. Therefore, the sprig of the acacia, ACACIA, a tree that's indigenous to the continental Africa, is the Masonic tombstone. I can get in Thomas Jefferson Quran. Remember I showed y'all when they went to see the Sultan, they came back and got flowers that only grow a certain place, and they brought them to the United States as gifts. I don't got time to go get Thomas Jefferson Quran. I got it. It's right in the introduction. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. But the Masonic tombstone now marked the grave of this first man formed in human flesh to indeed be African. An upright 5-pointed pentagram denotes Morocco as his exact West African jurisdiction. Morocco was the capital of the old Moorish Empire. And I show y'all all different coffins. And Masons have all these coffins, what I'm talking about. They know. All coffins have a what? Acacia sprig. But some also boldly display the murder weapon, which is the sitting maul, used to render the final blow to Haram Abeth. It's in your Bible. Others show the very shovel of constitutional laws used to bury him in a northwestern shallow grave. We ain't here to overthrow the Constitution when I show you we in the Constitution. Although dead, he was trained to walk around as what? As a Negro, black, colored, or African American, and never realized himself as God. The fiend existence of Haram would never enable him to rise from the world's most secret massacre, whole, intact, as one nation, bearing one free national name. And I can show y'all all these tombs. Therefore, if these Western Masonic coffins could talk to each other, they would say the same thing. When I can show y'all the Moorish pentagram, some men mark the tombstone with Negro, black, or color, others with African Americans. We are buried here to rest in pieces as property. The marks are truly slave names that were given to us as conquered West African nationals during the lawful time of slavery, 1779 to so-called 1865. And then I got documents from 1838 showing you the free colored people. And then you saying we were slaves. Yeah, Negroes. I just showed the documents and how we ain't want to be under no 14th Amendment. I just showed you that. And then we were free men, ancient name Amazigians. And people still gonna hold on to that. You know, the earth will tremble for truth, but will rejoice and marvel for the divine life being returned to the dry bones, which have been left to dry, nobles, from perpetual mental deaths in the noonday sun. I got a little more. What about a Mason being free? Watch this. Make no mistake about it. The institution of Western Freemasonry is an expression of freedom for certain males with pale skin, age 21. I got the charter. With sound mind and body. With the African God-man temporarily entombed for a few centuries, the criminals fancied themselves safe to introduce to the world Europe's version of peace on earth and freedom to all men. Therefore, the suffix free in Freemasonry is of great significance because it establishes the very status of the order and the intent of its members. Our prophet, the same as I have taught us Moors, although you were born free, you will come to know that nothing is free until it is of itself, clean, pure. Be yourself. As water offers freedom for fish to swim, as air offers freedom for birds to fly, like so secrecy offers freedom for Masons to work and not to be detected. When any living thing is free, it is due to the natural autonomy, which offers security and glory of their own prosperity, brothers and sisters. That's why I tell y'all, I'm not afraid to teach the truth. I'm doing exactly what the Creator told me to do. Teach the truth and teach who you are. The history of European race shows their concept of freedom is acquired through conquest, always been conquest, and where survival of the fittest is the superior law. When Europeans see other cultures, be they human, beasts, fowl, or the sea, living in their natural state of freedom, is viewed as wild, barbaric, uncivilized, primitive. But we were never in no dark age. We were all in a golden age. See, the concept must be reviewed in the light of the historical fact. Europeans were the last people, and it's no disrespect on earth to discover it was not flat and arithmetic is not witchcraft. Still, after nearly all these years, they exalt their version of civilization as being more advanced. How? How? This is just love. I'm just coming with love, y'all. You got to understand this. It's all wrapped up in masonry. All wrapped up. While free in masonry is also a sign of European, no disrespect, parole from the Caucasus imprisonment away from civilized humanity. My European professor, to tell you he's Anglo-Saxon, and he has said, hey, the Jews that say they're not the Jews are from the synagogue of Satan. He said, you ain't got to be mad at me. He said, Caucasian. He said, they Asian from the Caucasus. He said, the Jews that say they're not Jews are not Jews. He said, you can't be mad at me. And this is my European professor. He was like, they ain't gonna tell the truth, but the truth gonna always bust you in the mouth when you lying. It should be remembered that only light of divinity and knowledge was centered and commit of Akibalan and other continent people by the original families with you. Other nationalities, people of Europe, were completely without any form of education, culture, science. Because when you see on all the map, everything they came to Egypt. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, they came to the continent of Egypt. These is facts. Basic intellect until the event of Moses and later the Greek called Alexander. That's why they all wanted to be Egyptians to depths. That is to say, the word Mason esoterically mean mass of sun. Or when people be saying, oh, this Christmas, or Christmas, it's the Christ Mass. Can't be mad at me. You celebrating Yule. Research it. You celebrating Yule. Don't be mad at me. Get your Bible and read Jeremiah chapter 10 and tell me, after you read all Jeremiah chapter 10, tell me what it's saying. If you come and say something different, that means you just don't want to tell the truth. Because in Jeremiah chapter 10, they say, why you got a Christmas tree? Why you cutting it down and putting the silver and decorating the gold and buying gifts, following the Nicolaitans, following Saint Nick? Read it all for yourself. Well, now we can, yeah, okay. I ain't say you can do what you say, but stop lying. The masks of sun, in that context, to Masons, all women are widows because they can only sustain and deliver the sons of men. Hence, any man she either marries or conceived by ultimately must be her son and leave her widowed without a husbandman. See, they are therefore free, son of a widow, free from the woman, the widow. Strange programming, ain't it? But then, like I've been telling you, they always try to say, and then when you research, they say Nimrod married his mother. And then I said, we have to investigate a lot of stuff more. We have to start investigating. But let me leave y'all with this. The Masonic story of Hiram and Biff. King Solomon summoned the most accomplished craftsmen in the civilized world in India, Persia, China. The call was for the masters of the order of Melchizedek, from the sacred school of the Nazarites. This pestilent brother is a ringleader of the Nazarites. Who? What pestilent brother? Yahshua. What? He was from the brotherhood of what? Melchizedek. This stuff should be ding, ding, dinging. An African brother named Hiram Abiff, who was also a master of building tools, also answered the Nazarite call. It was one Hiram from the kingdom of Tyre, the capital of which was Sidon in your Bible, in the village of Zepharat, where he lived with his mother. One of Hiram's specialties was doing what? Constructing pillars. The purpose of a pillar is to support that which is above, that which is below. Hiram's headdress, called the fez. Gratitude for that donation, brother. Called the fez, depicted the what? The mastery of his craft. Read 1 Kings, the 7th chapter. The other biblical Hiram is from Ty, T-Y-E. Hiram Abiff became what, y'all? The master builder of King Solomon Temple in Jerusalem. And one day, as Hiram with his tools was he assigned on his route, the three Rufins savagely attacked him. It's in your Bible. The three robbers named what? Jablo, Jabela, and Jabloon. In your Bible. Fact check me. They stole Hiram's tools and clothes. The three assailants were from the sun-cursed tribes and were after the secrets of King Solomon's temple and were besides themselves for not being invited to the building of the grand temple. Hiram Abiff stood naked before them, and after they saw he did not have the key to Solomon's temple, the thieves knocked Hiram in the head with a setting maul, killing him at high noon. See that? To hide their crimes, the murderers buried Hiram, where y'all? In a shallow grave in the northern portion of the kingdom, and concealed the grave with the evergreen planted on top of it, y'all. See, a search party of Hiram, fellow craftsmen, came in need of their master builder. And when the three Jubes were questioned whether they had seen Hiram on the straightway, y'all, they each denied any knowledge of him, but were beheaded. They continued their search in the south, in the east, and the west, but his body was finally found in the north. And after 4 long days, aka 400 years, all the king's men could not lift the son of a widow from the grave intact. Only the king. Sound like Humpty Dumpty, don't it? I'm telling y'all, Humpty Dumpty, and all the man could put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Only the king would know the grip, the lion's paw, woo, that master grip to raise Hiram from the grave. And so it came to pass, as our prophet, as myself in the flesh, returned ancient Egypt mystery teachings to the fallen sons and daughters of North Africa. All Freemasons vow by a series of death oaths to be brutally mutilated prior to his death before he would dare reveal the truth about Hiram. Ask him. The so-called widow's son. These vows of secrecy are buried. Every major and minor setback of Jim Crow, racism, racial profiling, judicial abuse, sustained both physical and mental enslavement of Africans in the misnomer Eurocentric and Negrocentric history of the Americas. These oaths are as serious as open chemical warfare and should not be taken lightly by no one, especially the victims. The true story of Hiram Abiff, the widow's son, is the reenactment of the entombment of the African family, hereby called Moors of ancestral and legal purposes. This is the world's greatest secret, kept from the human family since Yahshua was kept in India and Egypt for 18 years. That's why these secrets are taught, are hidden in your introduction of your Moorish Quran. Why? Because these teachings was hidden from you, hidden in India. I'm telling you. The Red Book tell you about it. That's why I tell y'all, we the silent brotherhood of the East. Don't let nobody get you caught up. And this same African God man can be seen today, right here, looking at me, looking at y'all, as they lay in the state under the word person in the 14th Amendment. Negro steady fighting that person, that slave, and I'm showing y'all of the United States Constitution. That's what they hold on to, Dante. See, it say person. So that's ownership still. A lying lawyer will lie. Every president must swear under the oath to keep the murder hidden and the body of the new African nation buried. I'll give y'all this last little tittle of the widow's son, because somebody just asked me, what's that widow's son? Can you break it down? He was like, man, he don't have to cry, brother.
No father.
He don't have, that's why I tell brothers don't be, and that's what I've been telling him. And I said, yes, we should be crying and upset because this we revealing we done joined something, we do something, nobody and telling the truth. And he like, thank you for telling the truth. You're welcome. That's why I'll be telling people, I ain't afraid. I know European nations. I'm in Arizona. I ain't afraid to tell the truth. I'll give my life for it. I am not afraid. But gratitude for those kind words. Gratitude. Watch this though. Watch this, y'all. I pulled them covers off this infamous so-called widow son. The widow son is a myth made by the minds of Western Freemasonry and cloaked in secrecy. As most lies originate from some degree of truth, or as most jokes are founded upon realities in life. Like so, nearly all the European Masonic rituals, signs, tools, symbols are diluted reflections of Africa originations. The so-called widow son is no exception to these fundamental human principles. In European Masonry, the widow son is descriptive of the West African god-man whose code name is Haram Abif. Haram Abif, the widow's son. Generally, code names are used by what? Secret societies, government officials, military intelligence, and other worldly thinkers to conceal true identities of operations and agents. Code names are what? Nam de plums, trickle down to what? Hoi polloi, and used as what? Nicknames, aka aliases, aka stage names, aka pen names. When a lot of Europeans wrote in their pen names, Peter Moon, you know, they wrote in their pen name, you know, Hakeem Bey, pen name, the European that wrote all the Moorish paradigms, pen names.
Lambert Wilson.
Peter Lambert Wilson, right, pen names. See, they're not learned enough, Dantes. They had to describe, they had to change who they were, and they told the truth. All Masons that European, they like, you just Melchizedek. No matter the social level, deceptive or false identifications are used to hide the correct and proper person, place, or thing. I'm almost done. Haram Abif, the widow's son, originated from the same European mind which created the name Negro, black, colored people, the same 3/5 clause. The so-called European Jesus Christ, no disrespect, trust and legal tender of man-made gods formed from the bust of past presidents, and of course, America's first sheeted terrorist, the Klan. Other Masonic offerings include Santa Claus, Humpty Dumpty, U.S. presidents, the corporate United States. The average John and Jane Doe citizen would probably croak from shock if they knew all the illusionist contributions to society which were created or promoted in the lodges of Western Freemasonry. Now, the table has been set for learning the truth about the widow's son. I'm giving you science. You should be liberated today. The life of any widow begins with what? The death of her husband, and she has not remarried. A widow is a respected but unprotected woman. So why would you want to be a widow son? That means we unprotected. That mean a woman is here to defend herself. Who do y'all see the prophet when he on the rock? And he got in his arm. He got the woman. And then we got to put her upright. This is what I'll be telling all my Eastern stars. Y'all missing this. An unprotected woman is a first alert, denoting what? The fall of a nation. When I talk about the atrocities of the single mom, it ain't no such, I'm a single mom. Ain't no such thing as that. That don't mean nothing. I'm a single mom. No, you're not. We got to be specific in what we're doing. Symbolically, the widow is a code word descriptive of a nation, an adversary, y'all, who cannot defend itself or prosper. Why? Because its government and power has been what? Substandard. Most churches and marriage bonds had raised her from female to woman to support the high station of wife. From there, she was what? Raised to motherhood, because she alone can do what? Create a God. How? In 9 months. How? Without the sound of a hammer or a nail. Allegedly, Haram Abif, my brothers and my Moorish sisters, the widow's son, prosperity has now been compromised with the death of his father. Secretly, her son code name is Haram Abif, but publicly, y'all, his shallow grave have been clearly marked and accepted as the misnomer Negro, black, and colored people. I'm freeing us today. If y'all like what I'm saying, man, y'all should be like, man, I guess, brother. Now, if the student can imagine the widow as Africa, a Maxima, a Kibalon per se, and her son, the God-man of the Nile per se, then you can see why the furthest thing from so-called Willie Lynch, no disrespect, a European Mason's mind, a Negro-centric Mason's mind, is the possibility of Haram Abith being raised from the constitutional shallow grave, whole and intact, as one nation bearing one free national name. So there is no such thing as a perfect or unpunished crime. Stay with me, because we almost at the promised land. This holds especially true for the great crime of denationalizing. When you're dealing with these goofball Moors talk about they can nationalize you and denationalize you. How can any Negro you met on the internet can nationalize you and these my Moorish American travel documents? Clearly, that shows how retarded you are. And no disrespect, because you think somebody ordered some ID or got an ID card machine on Amazon and you think that means something? And you're going to put that in people's face? You think somebody telling you to get a world passport and Mos Def was stuck in the continent of Africa with that stuff? Why would you just don't get a passport with your free national name on it and with your feds? What's the purpose of all this stupid stuff? Slavery and global cover-up. Watch this, y'all. The great God of their forefathers, the major prophets, is us. As I close, there can be no widow, y'all. Watch this. While Allah is the husbandman. Got him. Because what do I teach y'all? What did our prophet teach us about the widow's son? The first thing our prophet teach us, and the first thing I teach us, is actually the very last thing any Mason earns the privilege to know. You can ask them who made them. That's the last thing they know. Allah, the great God. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time. Man himself is not the body nor the soul. He or she is a spirit and a part of Allah. So spirit man, as seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Now seeds are perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into the life made manifest. Therefore, the child is a perfect as the mother is. So man, the seed must be deeply planted, my brothers and sisters, in a soil that he or she might grow, might unfold, as does the bud unfold to show the flower per se. Therefore, the human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of the soul, my brothers and sisters, and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, through force this human seed into the soil of our soul. It grew apace, and man and woman became what? A living soul. And he and she became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Moors, brothers and sisters, Moors children, there can be no widow. Why? Because God, because Yahweh, because Allah, the great God of this universe, is the husbandman. That's right. You heard me. I said it. The soil of the soul, with her actions of thinking, willing, reasoning, understanding, and remembrance, is the mother within in which Allah planted his spirit man seed in you and I. So therefore, the word man means thinker. If you a man, because remember I told y'all the Bible says in First Corinthians, when I was a child, I act like a child, I thought like a child. But when I became a man, okay, well, what type of man are you? Because the word man means thinker. So man rises, my brothers and sisters, by the elevation of the degrees, what he thinks. His ladder of salvation has 3 steps, which is belief, my brothers and sisters, which is faith, which is fruition. It's in your Moorish Quran, chapter 7, ayahs 25 through 31, my brothers and sisters. Write it down. See, the more rapid your thoughts are, the more like unto yourself as God you become. Your thoughts must be developed by the exercise of strength. That's why man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah and is one with Allah and lives in man. That's why you can't die. While the West African slave trade will forever be pseudo,
You already sent us the photos?
but we should know that. So I want y'all to know this, y'all. I want y'all, as we close, I want y'all to know this. All nations are her daughters, especially those from Northwest and Southwest. These gods manifested in Africa became known in the West as the rejected cornerstone. Don't y'all know the little TV show, what was it called, y'all? The Boondocks? And the intro, he's like, I understand that the builder rejected. Don't. Y'all don't know who the stone is? The rejected cornerstone? Because the misnomer Negro, black, and color is the most redundant of all people. You got to understand this. So I close with that. I can go deeper with the Jabel, Jablum, and Jablim, but I want y'all to just start understanding this. And this is our science per se, and we can't be afraid to teach it. And I'm gonna always teach this science to brothers and sisters. Any questions? No questions?
No questions. That was a lot of
Gratitude. Like I said, we ain't got to be afraid or walk around like we promulgating something or we prejudiced or nope. Going with that. I'll bring out all constitutional law. We in a constitution. You can't say nothing. I don't care what no old man saying on the internet. I don't care what no Islam Mason saying or none of that crap they saying. Or we finna do this and I can teach you how to think high level, all that Ponzi scheme. This is my thing, y'all. If I was known a hustler and I done set the whole my neighborhood up and then I come back and I'm doing the same thing and y'all still rocking with me, y'all the fools. If I was known in this science and y'all knowing me talk about, I deal with Bitcoin and Forex and I done got with some fake Black Wall Street and I done got with the fake dude Billy Carson and I be talking about, and he's one of the most prolific minds in the world and he talk about Bitcoin and then try to sell some snake oil and all that. How can you trust me? And this is what I'm saying. We ain't got to say no. I'm saying it's all a joke. It's all a joke. And that's why I'm telling y'all, especially when they be using the stuff, well, we black men and we know this. We not black. I don't care if you wear no bandana with a compass and a square on it. I don't care what you quote. I don't care. Anytime that come out your mouth, we black and we know you come to black, I'm done. I got to run from you. Because clearly you're not a philosopher or a scholar. Clearly. Because I'm breaking down laws and constitutional laws, showing you how we ain't no 14th Amendment Negroes. No way. And you steady rocking. Man, I'm done. I'm done with that goofy stuff. And it ain't nothing to debate. That's our fault. And if we ain't talking the same, that's the problem. Because we steady letting these charlatans come to my conference, collect the money to put in their pocket. Talk about they giving away acres and they doing all this. But you known to be lying to people. You know, that's what I ask people. You don't even do a background check on these people before they come on your podcast and all this. It's just like if I come on a podcast and I say I own this and I do all that. And then you as the host say, I'm one of the greatest thinkers in the world and I'm from Harvard and none of that shit is true. And then you're going to just jump right back in here and act like everything is still peachy. Man, y'all did that together. Premeditated. I keep telling y'all, like, why do we think this stuff is real? Why? And like we can't question none of this stuff. Why? That's why I said I'm separating myself from this, and we're going to keep going and keep teaching the truth. Anybody that call themselves this not knowledgeable and today what's going on in the world, what Trump talking about, what reparations and what the 14th Amendment that Negroes concerned about and still talking about they black, but then run behind some religion and talk about I'm teaching you how to be conscious and talk about some Bitcoin and some Forex. Don't nobody care about no Bitcoin. That's stupid. And we ain't talking about who we are as a people, because most of them Negroes don't have no money. You can right now, brothers, like my professor said, why are you steady doing this? You ask for small donations. Are you getting something from them? No, I get all my donations from the college people. He said, so how many people be donating when you be live? I said, not that many. How many college when you on here? And it's 30 of us. How many people donate? I said, all 30. He said, that should be a no-brainer for you. That's why I said I'm a poor righteous teacher too. I come on here and share the wisdom. Then I have books converted. He was like, how many of your people, when you do these lectures, they buy books from you? Then how many of us buy books from you? All of them? Any questions? If nobody got, that's why I be telling y'all, misnomer black people, all they want to do is think they can buy something and be listening to Patrick like they some damn groupies. And I said, y'all know that stuff these people is saying it ain't no way. We done have people talk about they got 400 acres and to defraud us and have video talk about look at our land. We done have brothers that be in this community talking about they graduated from some ICDC college with Master P and Romeo, and I'm being sarcastic with pun. Talk about you got a master's degree in business and a master's degree in Christian history, you and a singer Tank, and knowing that's a lie. And have a green screen. How can we believe anything you saying now? Why you got to get on the internet and act like you got a degree and try to be inferior and you don't? Because I have those degrees and I'm a scholar. So if you ain't agreeing with what I'm agreeing, you were saying you a lie and you ain't no scholar. That's how I know when these people be coming out here and they pseudo y'all, because it's bull crap. And when you a scholar, it's a thing called peer-reviewed scholarly research. And you don't have to like my candor, just like in law. I can rest my case and there's no rebuttal. You don't have to like nothing I'm saying. And that's how these Negroes getting caught up. And that's why they won't say nothing. They stay far away. And I'll be telling y'all what you got out of going to somebody, listen to them talk, a whole bunch of stuff, taking somebody course. Have you made more money? Nope. Some generated stuff. It's all fugazi. And telling them to open their portfolio and see how much money they really got from their businesses, or is their money coming from you? And there you have it. So I love everybody. Keep your eye open. Please, Noble, subscribe to our temple and school YouTube page at the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Science Temple and School. Come on, brothers and sisters. We need y'all. We need all y'all. Stop holding on like loose teeth, loitering, and be a participator instead of a spectator. So if don't nobody got no other questions or anything, can we get our Moorish American prayer? And then I'll do our benediction and we out of here. Anybody?
Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation. By night and by day, who is Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Aleichem, ayah after ayah. Islamism, peace, love, and light.
No, but Dantes, you gotta get you a jacket or shirt with your family crest. All of us. I'm telling you, your coat of arms. It's a conversation piece. See, everything about us should mean something. Everything about us mean things. And we ain't offending nobody. So our 12-minute benediction reads, may the benison of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon all our brothers and sisters, and we should all do our best to shine all evil and lower self-actions. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that we all might nourish the souls of all men, women, and children, and all light seekers. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Knowest that thou need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, my brothers and my Moorish sisters, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, inconstancy, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, may Buddha, may Confucius, whatever you call it, whatever you want to rock with, please have a clear understanding, and may it guide you, and may it preserve you. May it lengthen your age, and may it give you everlasting peace. El Rahman El-Rahim, Yahak, Yamuhamim, Ashe, Shalom Alaikum, peace, 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 amen, all that stuff. Hotep, peace. Take us out, Noble Brian Omoso. I love all y'all.
High honors to you, Sheik.
High honors to you too as well, Noble Dantes. Gratitude for you.
MyPDFBooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by MyPDFBooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by FindingBooks.com, where treasures are found. Be sure to get all of your teas at My Son's Teas, the tea of teas, divided and prepared at herbsmyeye.com. Be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spade at bhspademusic.com. For your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out MorrisHaberdasher.com. And for the everyday especial Morris Strip, be sure to check out MorrisSachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
Such thing as failure, baby. Don't forget who made you. You can't be thinking
You think we're making major?
They made you think they saved you, but they can't
Nobody
nobody
say
save
you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a truth seeking, knowledge seeking. Woo! Peace, peace, and love, tribe. Peace. Peace, peace. YouTube, peace and love. Peace and love, y'all. Peace.